Hello, genealogists. This is Craig, and this is Just Genealogy. And today we're going to cover a few genealogy standards that we haven't covered before, beginning with standard number 30. We're dealing with standards for researchers. So stick around, and we'll go through a few of them today because I really don't want to spend the next 60 weeks doing this. I want to get through it more quickly so that I too can be reminded of what the genealogy standards are. Remember that I am not representing the Board for Certification of Genealogists. This is just my opinion. I will share with you that I just submitted my renewal, which will mean that I think I've now got 30 years as a certified individual. Used to be a certified genealogical record specialist and then became a certified genealogist eventually when they eliminated the certified genealogical record specialist. One day I'll talk about why you too should be certified. Standard number 30, we're dealing for standards for researching. Standard number 30 is abstracts. Abstracts omit redundant, repetitive, and formulaic. What a word. Wording in the abstracted record and judiciously smooth out the remaining text. Genealogists use quotation marks or indented formatting to identify any phrases of 3 or more words appearing in the original. They do not modernize names or dates. Otherwise, abstracts adhere to the standard for transcriptions. See glossary for definition of record noun. I'll be honest with you, I have never put 3 words in a row inside quotation marks. Never even thought about it. Guess I'll have to change. I do, however, enjoy indented formatting, but usually indented formatting tells me that the entire thing is a quote. So I'm really going to have to deal with abstracts. I have really never seen more than 3 words inside quotes in an abstract, but then maybe I haven't read enough. I do agree with do not modernize names, because you're abstracting, and dates, although I always do prefer military dates over civilian dates because you know what actually the month is. It's very difficult to know how people, especially in colonial times, are dealing with dates from the perspective of changes in dates, with the changing of the calendar, those kind of things. So just leave the dates as they are and leave the spelling as it is. So that's abstracts, number 30. Don't really know how I'm going to deal with that 3 quote thing, but I guess I'll have to start using it. Number 31 is quotations. Genealogists quote or extract to capture definitive, confusing, colorful, or unusual phrases. They also quote or extract to show or study a modern print version of a written source's part or parts. Genealogists identify quoted material by placing it between quotation marks or in an indented block quotation format. Following current Chicago Manual of Style guidelines, genealogists use ellipsis, points to replace words they omit from quotations. Genealogists' selections of quotations and omissions within them do not alter the original writer's meaning. See glossary for definition of record noun. And I agree with all of this. I usually have a rule of thumb that says that if it's more than 3 lines of text, I indent it rather than quote it. But commonly, if I'm going to quote something, usually it's much longer than 3 lines. So I'm going to, in fact, indent the material. And following current Chicago Manual of Style guidelines, you should have a copy of the Chicago Manual of Style. My kids gave me one for my birthday once. It was really surprising that they understood me so well. Although I sometimes personally have umbrage with current Chicago Manual of Style. For example, I use state abbreviations that are not postal codes, whereas the current Chicago Manual of Style says use postal codes, meaning postal abbreviations. And I just don't agree with that. If it's an address, yes. If it's a city and then a state, I'll spell it out. or I will use, like, for example, I'll either spell out Alabama or I'll say capital A-L-A period. Or DC, I will always say D period C period instead of DC, but usually I'll also spell out District of Columbia. So again, this one is pretty clear in regards to quotations, and I don't really have any issues with it. It's exactly how I do it. Remember that when you quote, and don't forget to use those ellipses if you split a quote in the center or whatever. And also don't forget to include everything that's absolutely necessary to make the point that we're trying to make. So standard 32 is transcribing, abstracting, and quoting principles. Genealogists cite the sources of all transcribed, abstracted, and quoted material. When quoting and transcribing, genealogists render wording, spelling, numbering, abbreviations, superscripts, and similar features exactly as they appeared in the original. Genealogists also show capitalization and punctuation exactly as they appeared in the original. Genealogists transcribe obsolete letter forms with their modern equivalents or with the original letter form, if it is in their character set. They do not substitute modern lookalikes with a different meaning. For example, F for the long, S, Y for the thorn, FF for capital F, or SC for X. Genealogists may add short insertions to transcriptions, abstracts, and quotations by placing them between square brackets. Longer commentary appears before or after the transcription, abstract, or quotation as clearly marked separate text or as one or more attached footnotes or endnotes. See glossary for definition of endnote or footnote. So with the exception of the lookalikes, substituting modern lookalikes with a different meaning, I agree with that, but saying those words aren't really helpful. I would recommend that you go to Standard 32 because all of you do own your Genealogy Standards book. You go to Standard 32 and actually read through it and see exactly what they're talking about, because I can't verbalize it well enough to make the point that they're trying to make. So this has been fun. This has been 3 of them. We'll try to do 3 to 5 each time from now on, especially when they're shorter. We only have a few more to do in regards to standards for researching, and then we will get into reasoning from evidence. So this has been Craig, and this has been Just Genealogy, and we've been dealing with Genealogy Standards, number 30, abstracts, number 31, quotations, and number 32, transcribing, abstracting, and quoting principles. I really have to go back and look at that quotation marks for 3 or more words in a row. That'll be fun. See you on the flip side. Bye now. Oh, before I forget, please subscribe. Please view as much as you can. We're trying to get to that 4,000 hours as quickly as possible. I apologize for not being around, but I picked up another publishing company and I've been out of pocket for about a week or so, trying to get everything caught up. As you can see, the books stacked around here. There are always books stacked around here. But we continue to publish about 10 books a week. So moving on down the road. Have fun now.